All right, here we go. We're finally here, cats. Bel'Shir Vestige. Everyone knows about this map.
Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it.
Do you know about this map?
Mhm.
You told me you don't like it, which I think you're crazy.
Um, it's not my favorite map in CVP,
Right.
but I don't think it's a terrible map by any means.
No, you know, choke points are annoying. I agree. And it's so hard, like, when you have a big Zerg army that's meant for swarming, like, finding the perfect place to engage is, like, so difficult.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, units like Mutalisks are I think better of an option on this map. I'm just not a Mutalist player, so
Right.
for the most part, I don't go Mutas.
Why is that?
Just preference. It's just my style. I mean, I do go Mutas. It's not like it's vetoed or something like that. It's just not, it's not my go-to.
It's like the opposite of mono battles, where you just never go muta ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I think if people caught up on that, if they knew about that, they could probably exploit it, maybe.
Well, the thing is, if I have to, like, there's a lot of players that will go Muta. Like, even if the pro does open Stargate, that's their go-to build. They have a response for it. Like, say Kane. Kane loves Mutas in CVP. So, his response to Stargate is gonna be Corruptors. That's just not a style that I'm like. It's not even about being comfortable with it.
Right.
I feel like you, as hard as it is for the Protoss to deal with it, you kind of forfeit the control over to them. In some cases, because if they have perfect control, then there's nothing you can do about it. You know?
No, it's a good point. Now, is this the same in ZVZ? Do you just not go muta?
I prefer not to, but again, like, I have certain responses to certain things in every matchup, pretty much where Muta will be my unit of choice. Just like I prefer Vipers over Corruptors to deal with things like Claw Sight. But for example, in CVZ, I like going Muta when they go for Storm Hosts, even if they open Muta first, or just in certain situations.
Okay, fair enough.
Or if I have a big enough lead that Muta will give you map control for sure, and it's the safer option. So pretty game so far.
Yeah, I mean, this is all standard stuff, guys, that you're watching. You know, the 14 pull happened. Now, what happens when you said you always go 15 hatch no matter what? Isn't that what you said?
Huh?
You always go 15 hatch no matter what?
Yeah, pretty much in CVP for the most part.
So you never get blocked?
Yeah, but I like to send 2 drones at the same time so that it's impossible to block both spots, like my third and my natural.
What if he puts a pylon at both?
Then he would be spending a lot of money, and then it would be really hard to guess that I'm gonna take 2 drones out. It's never happened.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Wow, Mana losing that probe, but putting down the pylon at third, he's going to have to cancel it.
Yeah, that was really nice by Violet too, because usually you need 2 lings on a probe to kill it, and he recognized that the 1 link was gonna catch up before it got to regen any shields. If the probe starts regenning any shields at all, then 1 link is not gonna be enough to catch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you need 2, so that 1 hits and then falls a little bit behind after hitting, and then the other one can hit it before the shields regen. So really nice identifying that by Violet, that he was in a close enough range to that probe that the link was gonna hit it before it reached any shields.
I got
Impressive.
you. High level play. Violet knows what he's doing. That lean micro. So obviously Violet identifying the very fast expansion-minded mana, and he's gonna do a bunch of droning here, taking the 3rd base with before the gas. You know, some players have been doing just getting speed early no matter what. Have you noticed that, or is that just a stylistic thing?
I suppose it's just stylistic.
Because like you get nice map presence, right? And there's a lot of flexibility there, but obviously you're sacrificing your economy a bit. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Violet taking relatively fast gases.
Oh.
Yeah, you're sacrificing a little bit of economy, and yeah, I mean, Violet's doing a really good job this game of identifying he doesn't need to make any units, of identifying that he doesn't need any extra queens, that his gases can go down. And the reason for that is the gases that mana took in his natural so early on.
Ah. And he's got a sneaky Stargate too.
Yeah, Violet not even bothering like scouting too much with those links. Like he knows there's something up. Now really nice positioning by the Stargate by mana. Like this Overlord of Violet is gonna see absolutely nothing and die, and actually supply block.
Oh.
12 drones on the way though, and again he's starting just now another open, so he's gonna be supply blocked for a second there. Violet.
Immediately starting layered, 2 additional gases. Can't really confirm the Phoenixes though. There's no really way to, but he can guess it certainly.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, at this point in time, mana has to be guessing. Okay, that's probably either going to be a Stargate or DTs. I wouldn't be surprised to even see him drop blind spores. But I mean, if it comes to that, we'll see how much damage this Phoenixes can do. Mana has been doing a really good job of hiding them. The other thing, like spores answer both DTs and Stargate. Like the other things that Mana could be going for, perhaps a Robo to go for that 2 Immortal to Colossus push, and that's kind of what he's gonna do behind this. He's already starting the robotics base, so we're gonna see the 2 Immortal, 2 Colossus, and Mass Gateway push by the looks of it. This doesn't look like Mana wants to take a third in this game. And the Phoenixes can be really confusing for a Zerg player, because the Phoenixes usually do their damage, and the normal response for the Zerg is gonna be to replace those drones, to replace that Queen. Not to prepare for an upcoming attack, because usually Protoss will expand behind the Stargate. Really good job by Mana picking off the drones at the gases as well.
Ah, good point. So, let's say Violet identifies exactly what's going on. What do you think is the best way to approach the Immortal Colossus thing?
I think there's more than a few ways, but
based on what Violet has already, right? His layer's already done. He's got 4 gases, and he's working on roach speed, and I think hasn't started.
Yeah, I mean, he could even start a Stargate right now, or he could just continue to go roaches and try to get a really good flank. The problem that he's gonna have is that Mana's gonna, I don't know, I think Mana should be adding sentries right now. Like again, like I've said for the cast, this map is really choky, right? So force fields are gonna be extra efficient, extra effective. A good response to this Immortal Colossus, believe it or not, is Swarm Moons. But on a map like you don't necessarily want to go Swarm Moons because, well, let me start by saying most players won't go Swarm Moons anyway, so there's that. But on this particular map, even I wouldn't go Swarm Moons, even though I love Swarm Moons, because there's so many paths, and if your locusts go the wrong way one time, then you're losing that much firepower. So I think Violet could just stay on roaches and try to
overwhelm.
Yeah.
Get a fourth maybe, or just stay on 3 bases?
Oh, stay on 3 bases, definitely. He does not need a 4th. Perhaps even a macro hatch.
Oh yeah, there's a macro hatch in it. Yeah, I didn't see a macro hatch.
Oh yeah, there is already one. It would be cool to see tunneling claws on a map like this. But again, these are responses that are perhaps out of the ordinary, out of the standard,
Yeah.
But Violet will have a lot. Looks like he's gonna go for a counterattack. He did break the wall, but Mana very smartly remaking that wall. Still, this wall is gonna fall.
Yes.
Violet should focus this pylon, and then we'll see what happens here. But
yeah.
Like, I don't think Mana wants to pull back. He's gonna have to warp in a few stalkers back at home. This could do a lot of damage, and it's not a huge investment.
And so much of this is trying to limit the reinforcements of the Protoss, right? If you get in the economy and start killing the probes, guess what? The Protoss can't make as many, obviously, as many gateway units to support. Violet trying to attack from a lot of different directions, but you talked about this on Bel'Shir Vestige. However, the Roach is going to be up close, nailing a Colossus, and he's going to get the other one. Violet, he's got it. Easy.
Yeah, Violet's got it. That was really impressive.
Wow.
Like you, I think that counterattack pretty much was a fantastic response.
Oh yeah.
It forced out the units that Mana wanted to. Like that army composition is not huge when it moves out. You add the gateways after getting your tech, after getting your units, right? So it's not like you move with a huge gateway ball. It's basically you move out with the units that you want to preserve by warping in more units, by warping in sentries, by warping in stalkers, people that are going to be taking the damage. So that was really cool at Violet by forcing those warpins, like you said, in mana space. And it's forcing because it's forcing it, right? If he gets on the economy, even if he loses the third, he's still gonna be fine. And mana never really getting in a comfortable spot there. Violet with a beautiful flank and engaging out in the perhaps only open area that map has. So yeah, I think mana would have been better off perhaps force fielding the like he basically, I'm not sure what he force fielded.
He force fielded the back ramp where the Roaches were trying to flank.
Right, but then he engaged it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it would have been better off force fielding that and then getting in a comfortable spot where there's already artificial chokes with the rocks and the terrain.
Sure.
But then again, he didn't really have that many sentries, so wasting force fields there and then trying to, like, not picking off any units would have been painful as well. It was just beautifully played by Violet.
Yeah, and it's like Violet didn't have ridiculous upgrades, right? It's one of those things where once you like muscle yourself past the force fields, or it was all in creep too, which is pretty cool because Violet was pretty active about getting creep spread in that direction, realizing that's a pretty common push.
Yeah, that's so important.
And once you can get your roaches like where they have roach speed, right, and then just speeding down the creep. It's a little bit like people are like, oh, force fields are easy, right? It's a little difficult to get the force fields down, right? The Zerg is really fast about it. And at the same time, remember, Mana was trying to worry about this counterattack, and it was natural, so who knows, man? Maybe Mana was like looking over there, trying to deal with that, and all of a sudden Violet swarms in on the creep with roach speed. And like once the roaches get up close, it's over. Like
another key thing that happened this game, as opposed to like most games perhaps, is Violet identified right away that Mana, like in the early game, right? This might seem like a distant thing, but Violet identified really fast that that Mana was not going to be aggressive early on. He didn't necessarily see his target, but the target didn't kill all that much, anyways. Right. So in doing this, Violet just droned up like a madman. He didn't make an extra single queen. He didn't make he made one pair of Zerglings. And then everything else was drones. So he got to his third base saturation really, really, really fast that game. And what that meant is he could start producing units a lot earlier. He also didn't get arrogant or anything like that. Like I think he was still on 4 gases, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So he didn't overdrone even to that extent. Like he didn't even make those 6 extra drones. And this is so very important because he could make those units, and by the time Mana attacked, he already had a crap ton of units out, right? One of the big problems with that map, again, is the position, right? So usually what happens is when the Protoss moves out, like the Zerg, if it goes in the Protoss, if everything goes as the Protoss has it planned, when the Protoss moves out, the Zerg is just not going to have that many units out, as many as Violet did. And what that's going to translate into is, okay, since I don't have that many units out, I'm going to have to sit back and wait for more units before engaging, right? So then Mana can get into any position that he wants, while you're trying to perhaps maintain an arc at your third or something like that where your units are going to be rallied. But in this particular case, when Mana pushed out with like 110 supply, Violet was already at 170, so he could push out on the map, engage that army, trade efficiently, trade in the open ground, and the open ground, I think, is the key word there.
Absolutely, yeah. You want to get to where there's a lot of space. Your roaches have a lot of space to maneuver around in. Violet with the great response to that build from Mana in game 1. Now Mana this game going for the Nexus first here, which historically has been risky on Whirlwind. A little bit.
Yeah.
Any comments on that, Cats?
There has to be. Yeah, I mean Naniwa, perhaps seriously in MLG against Nesty, against I don't know. Naniwa was basically going for a Nexus first every game though. So that's a little bit different. Now in Heart of the Storm, there's a lot of gateway expand builds, like a lot of them, even on large maps like this. So early pulls for Zerg are a lot more difficult to pull off, a lot more rare, so to say. So unless you have information on your opponent, like not making a Zealot or a Stalker and kind of just like relying on a Mothership core early on, even massing links against that sort of style is going to be tricky. So most Zergs don't go for early pulls anymore, including myself, and I was a big proponent of that.
Yeah. Very fast hatchery. And again, Violet, he drone scouted. He saw this Nexus. He could have decided, all right, let's go 2 gases and do something crazy, but no, Violet said, you know what, let's just put down a Nexus, let's play macro game, let's focus on our economy, still making nothing but drones at this point, of course, Queens and Overlords. Now adding on gases at around the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, however, he is dropping the Stargate before the gases, though. So, I was gonna say I like this a little bit better than last game, for mana. He did drop the gases, but, and the Overlord will see one of those gases, so it's kind of awkward. A lot of it is the Protoss not understanding, what the Zerg looks for a lot of the time. And it happens like that for every race, by the way. Like
right.
Zergs, Terrans, Protoss, we all have our tells of what's going on, and we don't necessarily know what they are. It's like, oh, it's my build. He probably doesn't know, but this Overlord seeing that gas for Violet is gonna probably mean that a Mana's not gonna be aggressive. Now Violet is making 10 links that he didn't make last game, so the gas was later than last game, much more so.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so he's gonna feel like he's gonna feel like, okay, your gas is later than last game. Maybe you are doing something this time, but probably not. So he's not overcommitting to links, but still making 10 links.
Ooh.
So oh wow, fast third by mana. I like this.
Yeah, he has a Void Ray out and he's adding on a second, so it's like, what can as long as the SimCity is good, what can actually kill this third when there are 2 Void Rays in the air, maybe even 3 by the time Violet decides to try to do something about it. Like
yeah, and the Void Rays are basically gonna keep him safe against any Roach all-ins, against any Roach aggression, and he's gonna show one of the Void Rays. Now, if I had to guess, Mana's probably gonna add more Stargates, but actually, as I say that, he drops a Robo. This was starting to look like a mass air build.
Yes.
He is making he canceled it. He started an Oracle, perhaps by mistake. I'm still unsure. He might still make more Stargates, but it looks like he's just gonna try to, like right now, it looks like he's just gonna try to make a bunch of Void Rays and then slowly add Colossi and kind of go into that death ball.
Yeah, if you think about it, like this fast third, what can really punish it? Like I'm trying to think about it. Like I don't really know. Like first of all, your opponent is all the way across the map. Second of all, they're going to be walling off. They're going to have 3 Void Rays. You don't know if they're making more. You don't know if it's 2 additional Stargates and it's more Void Rays. So like the risk associated with trying to push this third when you don't necessarily know what it is. Do you see Violet being aggressive towards this third? He's making Hydras.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, with the Hydras, actually, he has 14 in production. So now, yes. But before, like you said, like you don't know what the Protoss is doing behind it, and I think that's a big part of it. You don't know if he's making more Void Rays or he just made the 1 and he's adding a bunch of gateways. So it's a little bit hard to say. Now Mana has like cut a few corners early on. I think one of the things that could have punished that third would have been like mass links, kind of like what we saw TLO doing against Harmstem.
Sorry, scaring me. Void Ray.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, kind of like what we saw TLO do against Harmstem. Could have punished it, and that's about it.
Yes. Okay, that's a good point. But that's something you have to kind of be doing from the beginning. And that might be a stylistic thing too. I don't know. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of a nice planned out response by TLO that is pretty rare as well. So. Now Mana is getting a Colossus out. It's gonna be a matter of whether it's gonna come and factor into this fight. Because if it does, then he's gonna gain a huge lead. If he can shut down this attack, no problem.
Yeah. The Colossus is on the way, halfway done, so it's still going to be a little bit difficult. And this is a great position for Zerg. Oh no! There's nothing blocking the main in the natural.
That's a mistake, yeah. Like there should have been at least 1 sentry there.
Okay, Photon Overcharge. Colossus is coming out. Oh, he's targeting the Robo.
Yeah, Violet will target the Robo. Holy guacamole, it's gonna go down. It's terrible.
This is...
The Void Ray's not really in the fight either. Where are they?
I don't know where they are.
Where are the Void Rays?
They were at the bottom left last I looked.
Did they die?
There's no Void Rays on the map. I'm a terrible observer, I guess.
Well, as am I then. I didn't see him die either. This is looking pretty much over.
Wow. That was a quick 2-0 there. Violet taking the 2-0 over over mana